Spokane, Washington. 11:43 p.m. It's the kind of rain that doesn't wash things clean, it just makes the grime slicker, and the neon sign of the Rusty Spoon flickers with a dying buzz, casting a sickly yellow light onto the wet asphalt of the parking lot. Inside, and the air smells like burnt bacon and stale cigarette smoke that's settled into the vinyl booths over 40 years. Sitting in the back corner, and shadowed by a potted fern that died during the Reagan administration, sits Silas Vance. To the world of 9 to 5s and homeowners associations, and he's a terrifying specter. To the brotherhood, he is Rook, 52 years old, 6'4", with shoulders that stretch the black leather of his cut to its limit. And the death's head patch on his back isn't a costume, it's a biography. He has a beard like steel wool and eyes the color of a stormy sea, eyes that have seen prison cells and hospital rooms and graves. A burn scar twists up his left forearm, a souvenir from a fuel tank explosion 10 years ago. And Rook is nursing a black coffee that tastes like battery acid. He's just passing through, heading back to the chapter house in Idaho. He wants quiet, and he wants to finish his coffee and ride. But the universe rarely gives Rook what he wants. The diner door bursts open. A gust of wind and rain hits the few patrons, and a boy stumbles in. He can't be more than 8 years old. He's soaked to the bone, wearing oversized pajamas and no shoes. His feet are muddy and bleeding, and he's clutching a tattered, waterlogged sketchbook to his chest like it's the only life raft in the middle of the ocean. "Please." The boy gasps, rushing up to the counter, and his voice is a jagged whisper. "You have to help. They're coming." The waitress, a tired woman named Barb, who's seen every kind of junkie and drifter size, and she doesn't look up from her ticket pad. "Honey, we called the cops for you last week. They said you ran away from the foster home again. Go back before you catch a cold." And the boy Leo starts shaking. It's not from the cold, it's a vibration of terror. "No, it's not a home. They take us, please." He looks around the diner, and desperate for eye contact, but the two truckers at the counter look away. Nobody believes him. They see a runaway. They see a nuisance. If this moment grabbed your heart, and drop a comment saying, "Protect him." Rook sets his cup down. The ceramic clink sounds like a gavel hitting a bench. He watches the boy. Rook knows fear, and he knows the difference between a kid acting out and a kid who has seen the devil. Leo's pupils are blown wide, swallowing the blue of his eyes, and he's checking the door every 3 seconds. Rook stands up, the leather creaks. The sound draws every eye in the room. He walks toward the counter, and, his heavy boots thudding rhythmically, he stops 2 feet from the boy. Rook rumbles. His voice is deep, like gravel tumbling in a dryer. Leo flinches, and shrinking away. He looks up at the giant biker, expecting another threat. "The book," Rook says, pointing a gloved finger. "What's in the book?" Leo clutches it tighter. "And drawings. And the papers I took from the basement." Before Rook can ask more, the headlights of a black SUV sweep across the diner windows, and Leo lets out a sound that is half whimper, half scream. "It's Mr. Slater. Hide me, please!" The door opens. 2 men walk in. They aren't cops, and they aren't social workers. They wear expensive raincoats over cheap suits. The leader, a man with a buzz cut and a face devoid of any humanity. This is Kurt Slater, and scans the room. His eyes lock on Leo. "Leo," Slater says. His voice is smooth, professional, and terrifyingly cold. "You're causing a scene, and it's time to go back to the foundation. You need your medicine." "I don't take medicine!" Leo screams, backing up until he hits Rook's legs, and he hides behind the biker's massive frame. Slater steps forward, flashing a laminated badge that looks official enough to fool a civilian. "Step aside, sir. And this child is a ward of the state under the care of the Horizon Foundation. We'll take it from here." Rook doesn't move. He crosses his arms, and Kid says he doesn't want to go. He's disturbed. Slater says, his hand drafting toward his belt, not to a pair of cuffs but to a holster beneath his coat. "Step," and aside. Rook smiles. It's not a nice smile. "You reach for that piece and I'll feed it to you." The tension snaps. Slater moves, but Rook is faster, and he grabs Slater's wrist, twists it with a sickening pop, and shoves him backward into his partner. The second man stumbles, and Rook grabs a ketchup bottle from the table and smashes it across the second man's nose. "Out!" Rook roars. "Before I stop being polite." Slater, clutching his wrist, and glares with the eyes of a shark. "You have no idea what you just stepped into, biker." They retreat, but they don't leave. They sit in the SUV outside, watching, waiting, and Rook turns to Leo. The boy is staring at him with awe. "What can't stay here?" Rook says. He pulls out his phone. He hits a speed dial number. "Tom Stone. Wake the boys, and I need the van. I've got a package, and the heat is rising. Location Rusty Spoon. 4. Before we continue, smash that like button. Hit subscribe, and comment what state you're watching from. Now let's get back to the story tenor. 20 minutes later, they are moving. Rook has Leo on the back of his bike and wrapped in a spare flannel shirt, sandwiched between Rook and the sissy bar. They ride through the rain to an abandoned auto body shop on the outskirts of Spokane, and a place the club uses for quiet business. The crew arrives within the hour. First is Tom Stone, the club medic. He's a former combat lifesaver wary, and with glasses and a calm demeanor that belays his ability to stitch a man up in a ditch. Then, Fixer, the tech specialist. He's younger, heavily tattooed, and carrying a laptop bag like it's the nuclear football. Dutch is the muscle, a giant Samoan man who barely speaks but hits like a freight train. Finally, and Valkyrie. She's the intelligence officer, a woman with sharp features and hair dyed silver, wearing a cut that fits her like armor. Inside the garage, and under the hum of fluorescent lights, Tom Stone checks Leo's feet. Frostbite starting, malnutrition, bruising on the wrists. This kid has been tied up, Rook. And Rook's jaw clenches. Show them the book, Leo. Leo hands the soggy sketchbook to Fixer. Fixer carefully peels apart the pages. It's mostly drawings and disturbing crayon images of men in suits, barred windows, and vans. But tucked in the back creates the silence in the room. It's a folded ledger page, and it's an inventory. Fixer whispers, his fingers flying across his keyboard as references the names. Holy. Rook, look at this. The screen shows a list of names and dates, prices. The Horizon Foundation, Fixer explains. On paper, it's a charity for high-risk foster youth. In reality, it's a catalog, and they aren't finding these kids homes. They're selling them. Domestic servitude trafficking. It's a meat market. If this made your blood boil, hit that like button. And Leo speaks up, his voice small. They keep the others in the basement. At the old lumber mill, they said. They said I was shipping out tomorrow. Rook looks at the kid, and he sees his own son, who he lost to an overdose years ago. He sees the innocence he never had. The rage that builds in his chest isn't hot, it's freezing cold. And it's the kind of anger that clarifies the world. We call the feds, Valkyrie says, pacing the concrete floor. This is too big for us. If we hit them and miss, and the kids disappear, the cops are on their payroll. Leo cries out. Sheriff Barnes visits Mr. Slater. I saw them shaking hands. Rook slams his hand on the workbench. And, kid's right. We can't trust the locals, and the feds will take 48 hours to get a warrant. By then, those vans are gone. So what? Dutch grunts. And we go to war. We follow the code. Rook says, his voice low. We protect those who can't protect themselves. But we do it smart. He looks at Valkyrie, and, you still have that contact in Seattle PD. The one who hates traffickers more than she hates us. Valkyrie nods. Detective Alina Rostova. She's good. She's honest. And, call her. Rook orders. Tell her to bring a tactical team, but tell her we're going in first to secure the hostages. If she wants the collar, she plays by our timeline. And the next hour is a blur of preparation. Fixer pulls up the blueprints of the old lumber mill. It's a fortress, fenced perimeter, guards, private security contractors. And Slater wasn't a social worker. He's a mercenary running a black site. Rook mews in front of Leo. You did good, kid. You're brave. Braver than most men I know. And, Leo wipes his nose. Are you gonna save them? My friend Sarah is there. She's only 6. I promise you. Rook says, and for a Hell's Angel, a promise is a blood oath. And, I'm bringing Sarah out. You stay here with Dutch. He's going to keep you safe. Dutch nods, handing Leo a chocolate bar. Nobody gets past me, little man. And Valkyrie gets off the phone. Rostova is in. She's flying down by chopper. Eat 40 minutes. She says if we kill anyone in cold blood, she arrests us all. And if we save the kids, she looks the other way on the B&E. Fair deal, Rook says. He pulls a sawed-off shotgun from his saddlebag. Load up, we ride silent. And, the lumber mill is a rotting skeleton of industry against the dark sky. The rain has turned into a deluge. The crew parks the bikes a mile out and hikes through the woods. And Rook, Tom Stone, Valkyrie, and Fixer. They reach the perimeter fence. Fixer bypasses the electronic lock in 10 seconds. They slip inside, and moving like shadows among the stacks of rotting timber, they spot the main warehouse. 2 guards are patrolling with AR-15s. This isn't a street gang, these are pros. And, Tombstone, Valkyrie, take the left flank. Rook whispers into his comms. Fixer, cut the power on my mark. I'm going for the front door. Rook moves into position, and he can hear the hum of a generator. He checks his watch. Rostova is 10 minutes out. They can't wait. A large transport truck is backing up to the loading dock, and they are moving the kids now.
Now!
Rook hisses. The lights in the compound die. The mill plunges into darkness. Go! Go! If your adrenaline is pumping, and comment, justice served. Rook kicks open the side door. The warehouse is illuminated by the headlights of the truck inside. It's chaotic. Slater is shouting orders, and men are dragging crying children toward the truck. Hell's Angels! Rook roars, his voice echoing off the metal roof. Drop 'em! Gunfire erupts, and Rook dives behind a forklift. Bullets spark against the metal. Valkyrie and Tombstone open fire from the catwalks, suppressing the guards. They aim for legs and shoulders, and controlled aggression. Rook advances. He sees Slater grabbing a little girl. It must be Sarah. He's using her as a shield, backing toward the truck. Put her down. And Slater! Rook yells, racking his shotgun. You're dead, biker! Slater screams, panicking. You have no idea who runs this. I don't care, Rook growls. He doesn't shoot, and too risky. Instead, he holsters the shotgun and pulls a heavy wrench from his belt. He charges. Slater fires a wild shot that grazes Rook's shoulder, and Rook doesn't even slow down. He crashes into Slater like a linebacker. The impact knocks the girl free. She scampers away, hiding under the truck, and Rook and Slater brawl on the concrete floor. Slater is trained military combatives. He lands a solid punch to Rook's jaw, then a knee to the ribs. Rook tastes blood, but Rook isn't fighting for money or orders. He's fighting for the soul he's trying to save. Slater pulls a knife. He lunges. Rook catches the blade with his armored palm, and the leather slicing but holding. Rook headbutts Slater. Once, twice, the sound of bone cracking echoes. Slater goes limp. Clear! Valkyrie shouts from above, and the guards are zip-tied. Rook stumbles up, breathless, holding his bleeding shoulder. He looks under the truck. Two terrified eyes peer back. Sarah, he asks, and his voice softening. Leo sent me. You're going home. The girl crawls out and buries her face in Rook's leather vest. He wraps his massive arms around her and shielding her from the carnage. Sirens wail in the distance. Blue and red lights cut through the rain. Detective Rostova has arrived. The aftermath is a frenzy of activity, and police tape, ambulances, and news crews. Detective Rostova, a sharp woman in a trench coat, walks up to Rook while a paramedic bandages his shoulder. You cut it close, and Vance, she says, looking at the line of arrested mercenaries. Wolf found records in the office. This connects to judges, social workers, developers, and you just kicked over a very expensive anthill. Just make sure the kids are safe, Rook grunts. They are, she nods. Leo is asking for you, and Rook walks over to the ambulance where Leo and Sarah are sitting, wrapped in thermal blankets. When Leo sees Rook, he jumps off the bumper and runs to him. He doesn't stop, and he hugs Rook's leg sobbing. You came back, Leo cries. You came back. Rook kneels down, ignoring the pain in his ribs. He puts a hand on the boy's shoulder. And, I told you, kid, we look out for our own. The club rides away before the press can get close. They aren't looking for medals, and the news reports the next day call it a joint task force operation. They mention an anonymous tip. They don't mention the Harleys. They don't mention the leather. And that's just how the Angels like it. 6 months later, it's a sunny afternoon in Oregon. A nice house with a big yard. Rook pulls up to the curb, and his bike gleams in the sun. He looks different, lighter, somehow. He walks up the driveway. Leo is there, playing catch with a new foster dad, a good man this time, and vetted by Rostova personally. Leo freezes when he sees the bike, and then a smile breaks across his face that shines brighter than the chrome. If this is hitting you in the heart, comment, family forever.
Oh.
Rook, Leo yells. Hey, and buddy. Rook smiles. He hands Leo a new sketchbook. Heard you filled the last one. Leo looks at the book. I drew you, he says shyly. I drew you as a knight, but with a motorcycle. Rook laughs, a genuine deep belly laugh. A knight in black leather, huh? I'll take it. Are you staying? Leo asks, and a hint of the old fear returning. Can't, Rook says gently, but I'm not far, and you've got my number. You ever feel scared, you ever think something's wrong, you call, and then the whole cavalry rides. You understand? Leo nods. He looks at Rook, studying the scars, the patch, the grit. Thanks, Dad, Leo whispers. The word hangs in the air, and Rook freezes. His throat tightens. He hasn't been called that in 15 years. A crack forms in the wall he built around his heart, and he pulls his sunglasses down to hide the moisture welling in his eyes. You be good, Leo, Rook chokes out. Be brave. As Rook walks back to his bike, and he realizes something. He didn't just save Leo. Leo saved him. For 20 years, Rook had been running from his past, thinking his sins were too heavy to carry. But today, he realizes that redemption isn't about erasing the past. It's about using the darkness you know to fight the darkness that threatens others. And the impact of that night in Spokane rippled out. The ledger fixer found took down a network spanning 3 states. 12 other children were recovered, and a corrupt judge was disbarred and jailed. The Horizon Foundation was dismantled brick by brick. The Hells Angels chapter in Spokane started a quiet fund. No fanfare, and just money showing up for foster kids who needed legal representation. They didn't want credit, and they just wanted to make sure no kid ever had to run into a diner at midnight again. Rook mounts his Harley. He kicks the starter, and the engine roars to life, and a thunderous sound that used to mean trouble, but now sounds like hope. His phone buzzes. He checks it. A message from Valkyrie, Portland, and veterans shelter being shaken down by the mob. Need a strategy. Rook smiles. He puts his helmet on. The road stretches out before him. There is no finish line, and there is only the next mission. The next innocent to protect. The next darkness to fight. If this story moved you, hit subscribe, smash like, and share this so more people hear about the heroes who wear leather instead of capes. Drop a comment telling me which part hit you hardest. 6. Sometimes, and the world judges a book by its cover. They see the tattoos, the scars, the loud bikes, and they see danger. But sometimes, the scariest people are the fiercest protectors, and because they know what the wolves look like, and they aren't afraid to bite back. Rook revs the engine. He shifts into gear, and he rides into the sunset, not as an outlaw, but as a guardian.